food desert is a phenomena where you have very limited access to healthy food choices in a neighborhood. We, for instance, in this neighborhood live in a food desert where we are at Miles and Broadway. The closest grocery store is about 2 miles away from us. There are neighborhoods here where, within a 2-mile radius there isn't any fresh produce available, fresh or healthy food choices, not just produce. So there are studies that have shown that people who live in food deserts tend to eat fewer fruits and vegetables irrespective of their income. So if you compare low-income people living in neighborhoods which have outlets of fresh produce, whether it's a grocery store, a farmer's market, or what have you, they tend to eat better than people who live in food deserts where there aren't any outlets of healthy food choices.
I think there's the issue of childhood obesity, health. With a lot of the industrial agriculture, we have a lot of corn syrup, corn-derived products, and things like that. Not only is there a lot of fossil fuel that goes into that, but it's not healthy for people. We have a lot of problems with obesity, diabetes, heart disease. It has an economic impact in terms of lost productivity. It has an impact on quality of life. People are much more sedentary.
My name is Esther Muchiri. I actually come from Kenya, from a farming community, so I definitely understand and have grown in a perspective of food just growing to where you are. And I appreciate healthy food, fresh food. And coming here to the US, I had a very interesting experience where I went to the supermarket and I bought stuff and it didn't taste like food. It didn't taste like food, or like what I'm used to. And just working with kids and starting to ask them to eat healthy, fresh food, and they couldn't even, they weren't ready to do that. They were opposing every aspect of me trying to force fresh food to them, or even knowing the importance of eating fresh food. Really struck a chord in my heart, and I started very seriously looking into ways of, working with communities to make sure that people are growing their own food and eating it from right where they live.
So I think that's kind of the orientation of local food systems. It's about restoring those local food webs, and if that's happening as it is right now across the nation, this is a national, if not global movement. It's about all of us kind of restoring those local food webs on our own.
So, those sorts of practices of building up our gardens, making our landscapes edible as opposed to ornamental, or a combination of both, at least, so that we can build all of these base food resources in our suburbs, around our houses, and then ultimately go out into our farms. If we all did that, then we would need less farmland. And that farmland could then be returned to some sort of native state. Now, that was one of the original premises of permaculture, that if we actually brought food production into our homes and around our homes, zoned it back there again, then we wouldn't need to have anywhere near as much land covered with the destructive practice that is agriculture.
These are shiitake mushroom logs. They're a little past their prime. These have been bearing fruit for the last 6 years. And so
everything from family farms, Amish farms, retired people and young people growing food in vacant lots in the city. Here at the Jones Farm, young folks coming out of Oberlin College or from the local community, learning how to farm, and I think together we're starting to create something that's more sustainable. But it's all rooted in community, and I think that's the connection between the food we eat and where we live, is that community, because food is what creates that community, and that community is what's needed to restore our ecosystems back to health.